Hello, welcome, internet people. We are here to have do we introduce ourselves? I mean, if they're watching this, they probably know who we are, right? I don't know. We'll just do it anyways. Yeah, we're here with Bucked Up. My name's Jose. I make the products, kind of my main thing.
It's kind of your jam.
Yeah.
I make words go. It's kind of my thing. Content. Logan is my name. That's cool.
I'm Mike Simkoviak. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing. You know,
in life, in general. In general.
Just in general, okay.
Well, I mean, I think we're all in that boat, you know. So welcome. Today we are here to discuss coaching in general, whether you should hire a coach, what's going to be the right coach for you, different things like that. I think in one way or another, we've all coached people. I'm kind of anti-guru and different things like that, so I don't feel comfortable ever telling people what to do. I'll be transparent in voicing my opinion or something like that, but I don't feel comfortable giving people direct guidance or especially cookie cutter guidance, you know, with everything, whether it comes to diet, workouts, or should I break up with my girlfriend or boyfriend. It's like, well, like, that's not a yes or no to everybody, right? So why is diet or exercise going to be a yes or no to everybody as well? So you've each coached people. I know you both very well. I know your coaching style, your diets, all that stuff pretty well, I would say. And they're completely different in tons of different ways. And with that being said, I don't think that one is right or the other, or one is better or worse than the other. Like I kind of put them both on the same ground. It's just kind of figuring out what's good for you. So what are your we'll start with Mike. Mike, what are kind of your thoughts on?
Well, so this all came about, you know, Logan, he wrote a blog. So what's the title of the blog?
It's called Be Your Own Coach.
So kind of explain to the people what that means so that they can kind of get an idea of what we're talking about.
So when it comes to coaching, usually, you know, you want to, like Jose was saying, there are coaches everywhere. Like, we've all coached someone. More likely than not, you watching have coached someone in one facet or another. And so the idea behind the blog is learn from everyone, not just one set hired coach. Not to say that having a coach is a bad thing, just that the whole idea of growing in any endeavor, fitness specifically for this, is to grow beyond the point where you need to hire a coach for everything you do. Just, you know, there are those people that I've ranted about this before that tend to think they're experts on something, but all of their knowledge is regurgitated from one person. You want to constantly be growing, asking questions, and that's kind of the idea, is find your coaches everywhere instead of just making a coach your messiah, as Jose so eloquently puts it in the blog, which I stole from him.
Yeah, I've definitely encountered people in my life where if you disagree with anything their coach says, or you think anything, it is like, what is it that they call it in Scientology when they like just X somebody out of their life, even if it's like your kid or your spouse or whatever. If they
excommunicate?
No, they have
exile.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but they have a word for it where like, well, even if you have somebody that's been excommunicated or whatever, like in say the LDS church, you can still talk to them and be their friend. This is somebody like you have to act as if they never existed. And so I've gotten that. I've definitely had some people be like, oh, you got that coach, huh? And it's like, so how's that treating you? You know, and they're like, how dare you? You are dead to me. Mike, what's your take on it? I mean,
no, that's definitely true. You know, it's like follow my way or you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that with me as a trainer, like one thing that I do is I'll take my clients and I'll say, hey, this is my approach. You know, this is what I'm willing to offer you. These are my suggestions from my experience. And that's one thing that you should look at when you're getting a coach is their experience, past experience, their knowledge. You know, some people obviously change their Instagram title to mentor life coach, but what's their experience? Even me, you know, I've done it for 13 years. I still tell people, hey, do a show with me. If you didn't place where you want, what do you want to do? I ask them and I say, go to another coach, because maybe he has an approach that's best for you. Because, hey, if I actually care about that person, like go be your best. And I tell them, I've had clients do that, and it's cool because I had this one client particularly. With me, it was a real relaxed prep. He did okay. He took 4th place. So I said, go to another coach that does the exact opposite. He's probably your best choice. Goes to him. He was doing 2 hours of cardio a day, high intensity workouts. I saw him at the gym throwing up. Like, I was just like, man, good job. 6 months straight. I think he did like a 20-week prep with this other coach, busting his butt and placed 4th. You know, so sometimes like it's not about the approach, it's just about your body type. And that's why I think you want to leave it open to trying new things and just not relying on maybe one method, seeing what works best for you. So,
well, also there could be a flip side of that coin is you might find a coach that's better for you, or you might realize like, oh, this coach actually knew what they were talking about, or, you know, maybe I was the problem or whatever. It's not going to hurt trying out like a different variety.
No, not at all. And then,
I mean, what you know now about diet and physiology is way different from how we were 5 or 6 years ago. We used to think that there's no way if you didn't have like these macros and this protein and this, you know, that you could ever be, you know, fit. Now you're leaner and bigger than you've probably ever been, and it's on a completely different protocol.
Oh yeah, no, I remember 6 years ago working with a coach, and he had me eating 10 meals a day, and not small meals. It was like 10 ounces of chicken breast pretty much every single meal.
Wow.
I had like an unhealthy relationship with food.
Were you rich?
I don't know what I was thinking. No, I was not rich.
I
started my own farm.
Yeah. This dude had a lot of stock in Tyson.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, a big thing that I've personally, and this was when Logan and I were at GNC, you know, we had everybody coming in to prep that had the biggest and the best coaches. And, you know, the best coach and the most sought after coach. What we learned when people were getting their stuff and like, okay, let me see your list. Every single person, every single woman had the same exact meal plan and prep as all of the other women, and every single guy had the exact same one. And it's like, okay, well, I could see how this worked if you were specifically trying to place in a show and if you specifically were on a ton of steroids. But a regular person, there is no way that they could live off this 900 calories a day plus their workouts plus their cardio for this amount of time on a prep. So that is another thing that you kind of spoke of was, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to place in a show? Because how you're going to coach somebody placing in a show versus somebody who's 300 pounds and they're like, you know what, I'd like to get to 250 by the summer, by next summer. You know, you're going to take those completely different. So, and this coach is a very highly sought after, very respected coach, if arguably top 3 maybe in the entire industry, at least in the Western US. But I mean, I know people, Arnold and Olympia really? And things like that, you know, so, and it's so, I mean, yeah, that works for them because of the protocols that he's got them doing for their specific goals. But just because a coach has notoriety, that doesn't mean that they're going to be a good coach for you.
Well, and let's look at, because not everyone's competing.
Right.
Right? Like, so if you're getting a coach, just say you're just starting out, or maybe you've been lifting for a while, so you kind of have an idea of what you're doing training-wise, but diet's something you struggle with. You don't want a coach necessarily that's going to be like, I mean, this is just me personally. Mike is a dedicated freak.
Oh, I
say that as a compliment, of course.
He saw me at McDonald's. He would say that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, you were dedicated to, like, chowing down that McDonald's, right?
Yeah,
dedication.
Yeah.
But it's like the Tupperware lifestyle. Like, they have, like, when the coach prescribes someone to be forever on that, like, you have to only eat chicken breast and broccoli, like, that's why a lot of people, I think, especially those after shows, will blow up so much. Is like, there has to be some sort of moderation. Like, I'm sure, like, when you talk to one of your people, you're like, okay, well, like, is it like you can kind of like have this day or something to eat a little bit more leniently?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always do that. And the thing is, it's like cost versus benefit. Like, some people go so strict, like I said, like with that client and many others.
I feel a Grape Nuts pitch coming.
A what?
A Grape Nuts pitch? Are you going to talk about Grape Nuts?
No,
okay.
he'll bring up Grape Nuts because I have to talk about our differences.
This is sponsored by Post. No, but it's like, cost versus benefits, where some coaches say, this is what you've got to exactly do, or you're not going to lose weight. But that's their own opinion, and so I got this book once, and it was awesome. It had bodybuilders from the 40s to 2010. They all had different workout routines. They all had different rep sets. They all trained differently, but they all looked amazing. So there are some simple variables. And so sometimes people go overboard, think they have to do 2 hours of cardio, eat 800 calories to get there. And it's like, well, there's competitors doing half that and look just as good without beating their body down as much,
Well, yeah. Like you look at Mike Menser, who's one of the greats. He did, I think it was like 2 to 3 workouts a week of like super high intensity drop sets, but he only killed himself in there for like 30 minutes. And he ate mostly carbs. But then you have like Serge Nubret, who also arguably one of the most aesthetic people of all time.
He's the only person where every single year Arnold beat him. You're like,
should you have though?
Ooh, that's either way. That's a flip a coin. That's a tough one. I get it, but if Nubret would have won any of those years, it's not like Arnold would have gotten robbed. It's like, cool. Sure, it's subjective at that point.
Yeah, and he ate and trained the polar opposite way. And there's both of them. Like he trained like 40 sets, 6 days a week, and he only ate 1 meal a day. Granted, it was 5 pounds of horse meat, and so I'm pretty sure if any of us ate 5 pounds of horse meat, we'd be ridiculous. But
I usually stick to 3.
Yeah,
3, okay. Well, but you do have the stallions, right?
I mean, even like you have a lot of competitors and coaches, that are a lot lower in the fats. Maybe their fats are 15 almonds and half an avocado for the day or something like that. But then you read Encyclopedia Bodybuilding, and Arnold's like protein shake was a quart of heavy cream and like a dozen eggs, right? And you're like, wait, how's arguably the greatest bodybuilder of all time smashing all this fat? So there's no right or wrong way per se. It really is just frustrating to me, especially when the person is, let's say, in their late teens to early 20s. The amount of 19 to 20 to 21-year-old men's physique competitors now and female bikini competitors that are like, nutrition advice, Q&A me on my Instagram, and it's the same as like having a 19-year-old missionary knock on your knock on your door.
20.
But a 20-year-old knocking on your door and telling you the meaning of life, like, I get it, you're 45, but you've been doing this all wrong, and it's like, yeah, maybe your way is better than the way that I've been doing it, but it's not doctrine. It's not, well, I know my coach is the one true coach, and if you don't like it, then I'm going on a crusade, right? You're dead to me. Yeah. That's going to be the biggest issue that I have personally.
Like we said, look at a lot of their credentials and their experience, but that doesn't mean it's law. You see everybody now is a coach after their first show or their first diet, They've been in a week and they're already posting, hey, I know what I'm doing, and so double check the facts and see what works best for you. We're just saying that, when I hear competitors say, man, I took a month off work to do my show, it's like, what kind of life is that even as a competitor? And I guarantee, I'm like, dude, if I would have trained you, you would have been feeling better than ever going into a show. And I'm not saying my way's best, but it's better.
Well, I've had people in the office, they were worthless through their entire prep. Yeah. And it's just like, we're nice or whatever. And it's like, oh, sorry, I'm doing this show, so I'm like super tired and can't do my job and I'm being late. And we're just like,
yeah. And so then on
why?
the
and they're
flip
like, well,
side,
a piece of plastic. I mean,
I know, an award, but like, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Like, I'm really good at staying lean year round, right? I'm pretty sure my energy levels were fine when I had that 3-day prep. But when it came down to that 3-day prep, I still had no idea what I was doing for those, like, oh crap, what do I do for the next couple days? It's like, obviously I'm going to defer to you when that came up, but it's like, you shouldn't have to feel like you're dying to get from, for men, we'll say like 12 to 8%. Like, you shouldn't, I feel like peak week, that can be pretty rough, right? But
yeah.
like, how often do you feel like during a prep like throughout it, are you hating life
No,
every
I
single
feel
second?
better.
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel better. It's funny
Yeah.
because I did a podcast with somebody else, and they were like, "Man, you're doing a show in like 3 days. Thanks for being here." And I'm like, "This is normal, you know."
And how many shows have you done now?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
20.
And what are some of the big ones that you've won?
I won the Jay Cutler Classic, took third at Nationals, North Americans. I've won Utah 4 times, twice bodybuilding, 2 overalls. Took first place super heavyweight, Wyoming Phil Heath Classic, won the Las Vegas Classic super heavyweight. So we've knocked out a couple. You know?
Yeah, I'll say that's quite the resume. And even with that resume, you're still not egotistical enough to say like that there isn't wiggle room or that there's other ways besides your way.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the thing is, I think people see it as a moneymaker. You know, they say, "Oh, now I can start a business because I've dieted for a month." You know, and it's like you've got to see that as a person. Like, is this person really passionate about fitness in helping people reach their goals, or do they want a check? And that's where I think a lot of these influencers are like, "Hey, this is a way, you know, way to make easy money." But that's not going to be the best fit for you. That's why you know we're kind of shooting this, saying you got to be careful who you're getting as a coach, and then don't take it as law, right?
For sure.
Well, and on that note, like kind of like, I mean, maybe I should add this to the blog. That's one of the biggest differences, like between, not biggest difference, but like that's one of the differences between you and me. Like I was coaching for a while, and I realized I don't like coaching. I like writing, and I like putting information out there, right? Like, but Mike actually has a passion for coaching. So it's like, even if someone is good necessarily, if you can tell they don't actually care about your success, like, do you really want that person in your in your corner? I wouldn't. Like, I'd much rather have you in my corner than me in my corner.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, in summation, it's not like your team versus my team, which is like, I've never seen anybody that you've coached, and I've seen tons of them. I mean, we've been around each other for forever now. I've never once seen like somebody being like, "Yeah, Team Simkoviak. Like, if you're not, you know, like, or my team's better than your team." Like,
because I don't need that, and I don't want that. It's not about me, you know. It's about, hey, let's get you looking the best, you know. I mean, I understand people want to be part of a team sometimes, but sometimes it just gets taken too far, where it's like competition. I'm on this team, that team, like that's just not me, you know. Like, I want people to do well. It's not. I'm not God for them, you know. Like, I helped you prep with my theories and what I felt was best. That's it, you know.
Yeah. Oh, real quick. Said we were going to address this. I'll drink this while you guys discuss it. Grape Nuts.
Oh, I couldn't do it, but I think. What were you saying? Like, so let's see. I want to hear the grape nut theory again, because I think people need to understand.
It's the ROI, the return on investment, right?
This is like golden rule in my book. People always come to me and they're like, "I want to get all bulk, no bloat. I want to get everything on the books." And I say, you need that for uptake of nutrients, but there is something out there, a secret. It's called grape nuts. 100 grams of complex carbs per cup. And so I tell people the 2-week challenge, in 4 cups of grape nuts a day on top of what they're eating. So that's 400 more carbs, but it's complex, low
1,600 more calories a day.
1,600 more calories a day, 2 weeks. And I see these people and I'm like, "Man, what are you doing?" And they're like, "I'm doing your grape nut challenge."
Hold on. For those of us who weren't rich kids and can't afford Post-brand cereal.
No, I go with the Nutty Nuggets from Walmart.
Okay.
Yeah, the off-brand.
Nutty Nuggets from Walmart. Okay.
And then, so on the flip side, my golden rule, this is not to get bigger, is if you're feeling fluffy, just fast for 72 hours.
Yeah.
It's brutal. I think the grape nuts might actually be harder, though. I think I'd have a harder time with that than not eating for 3 days.
See, and me and Logan have talked about this, where change is always good. You know, where sometimes he's like, "Maybe you should change this." You know, I've been doing this. We all get in ruts where some things that he's doing, complete opposite of what I've been teaching, what I believe, are probably going to help me get past plateaus because it's just something different to my system. Same thing with him. I say, if you try this, something awesome is probably going to happen just because it's a complete shock to your system, you know?
Absolutely, and I would agree with that. And the more you diversify, the more your body's enzymes, your gut, things like that. So before, when I would do things and I would incorporate, you know, let's just say you and I one time we were in, I don't remember if it was LA or Anaheim, and we were rooming, and we got I think we went to Krispy Kreme, and we saw how many people could eat the most amount of donuts. We had ribeye steaks at a steakhouse. We did all of these things, and oh man, my stomach was destroyed. And now I feel like all the different things being like, okay, well, I'm going to try 3 to 6 months of keto. Okay, well, I'm going to do a paleo diet for a while. Okay, well, I'm going to be vegan for 4 or 5 months, right? My stomach and my body, my metabolism now, I feel can run on anything. Where before now, you know, kind of the OMAD and keto type diet we've been doing, where if there is a night we go have pizza, I'm pretty okay from it now. Like where before, it would destroy me. I mean, I still don't typically do it, but I do know that if I were to switch to whatever diet, that my aesthetic, and I say about 10 to 11%, you know, it's gonna be where it's at as long as I'm not eating a ton of crap and I'm training regularly. But you can adapt to pretty much anything. I mean, the human body has been around for as long as it has been for a reason. We can run on anything and everything for the most part, as long as it's not a bunch of processed garbage.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, especially it can run on grape nut. I've done your grape nut challenge, you know.
And it's really adaptive, and that's why, you know, these strategies based off your past, what you've been eating, you know, a coach's diet plan, you know, could work great for you or be crap, you know, even though he gave that to somebody else and it worked wonders for him, you know.
But yeah, it's all about experimentation and like teaching yourself and learning, so you can actually be like, okay, well, this might have actually worked better for me, and like kind of tailoring everything you're learning to where you can teach yourself.
Yeah. Like my basic thing, you know, as a coach is like, you're right, there are some simple principles: calories in, calories out. Like that's the basic. If you're eating nothing, you're probably going to lose weight. If you're exercising, doing 2 hours of cardio, working out, like it's going to happen.
Which is probably going to be another post we have to have, another blog discussion we have to have.
You know, and the thing is though, it's like, but what's best for you and what's most comfortable? I can't do what Logan does, and I don't know if he can do some things that I do. You know, and it's just what are you happiest with, and what's going to fit your lifestyle that you can make it doable. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and also too, you know, I feel I have pretty good genetics overall. However, you two are both genetic freaks. Even when you're trying to be like as gross and disgusting as you can, you still had a six-pack, literally eating like garbage and trying to get as big as possible. You still kept a six-pack.
Yeah.
You've always had it doesn't matter when you could literally eat anything and everything and you wouldn't gain weight. So you two are genetic freaks. So you understand that when you're working with people that, you know, they're not going to be the same as you two. So something to keep in mind. Yeah, well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we just want you to be open, you know, try things out, experiment. You know, we always, as a company, you know, we say, try our products, try it, you know, try things out, see how they work for you. You know, we want to bring you the best things, and that's why we're giving you our honest opinion, that we're saying, hey, if we write a blog about keto, that might be the best thing for you, but it might not. You know, give it a try, read information, and learn. Be forever learning, right?
Yeah, student mindset.
Yeah, take it out for a test drive. See how it goes. So, all right.
Sweet.
Good?
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.